All right, hello everyone. Hello teacher, hello ma'am, and hello to our fellow classmates, and hello to my group mates, group 4. Okay, so to continue our report, we are here in Philippine history spaces for conflict and controversies. Okay, so we are assigned to focus and do the report on Case study 4, where did the cry of rebellion happen? Okay, so in this topic, we will discuss about where, okay, that means places, where did the cry of rebellion happen, when, okay, and who are the people or who accounts that involved in this historical event. Okay, so I hope you learned something today, and now let's start. Okay, so momentous events swept the Spanish colonies in the late 19th century, including the Philippines. Okay, so journalists of the time referred to the phrase El Grito de Rebelión or Cry of Rebellion to mark the start of these revolutionary events, identifying the places where it happened. Now, in the Philippines, this happened in August 1896, northeast of Manila, where they declared rebellion against the Spanish colonial government. Okay, so dati tayo ay pinamumunuan or sinakop tayo ng Spanish government. Kung kaya't um, noong August 1896, they decided to do or to form a organization. Okay, so these events are important markers in the history of colonies that struggled for their independence against their colonizers. Okay, so the controversy regarding this event stems from the identification of the date and place where the cry happened. Okay, so that time, yung mga journalists marks the start of this revolutionary referring to the phrase El Grito de Rebelión, or we call it now the cry of rebellion. Okay, so that's why in 1896 in northeast of Manila, it is a very important event for the Filipinos and the Philippine history because it is the struggle of our heroes or our ancestors before for the independence of Philippines. So ito yung importante talaga na history dahil dito makikita yung struggle or yung mga pagsisumikap ng ating mga heroes before para lang makamit ang kalayaan ng Pilipinas. Okay, so um, there's a prominent Filipino historian, which is Teodoro Agoncillo, emphasizes that the event when Bonifacio tore the cedula or tax receipt before the Katipuneros, who also did the same. Okay, so he is a prominent Filipino historian. Okay, and he said or he emphasized that the event when Bonifacio tore the cedula or tax receipt and the Katipuneros followed. Okay, so right, there are a lot of role playing or movies maybe or pagsasadula. Okay, how Bonifacio tore his cedula and how the Katipuneros followed him and why they tore the cedula. Okay, something like that. Okay, I think those videos are very important to our Philippine history also. Okay, so next, um, here some writers identified first military event with the Spaniards as the moment of the cry, for which Aguinaldo commissioned an hymno di Balintawak to inspire the renewed struggle after the Pact of the Biak na Bato failed. Okay, so Itong si Emilio Aguinaldo commissioned Himno de Balintawak. Okay, so he did this to inspire the organization dahil nga sa failure nitong Biak na Bato. So what's this Biak na Bato? Okay, Biak na Bato was led by Emilio Aguinaldo also, and it was the second revolution. Okay, ito yung revolution din ito. It was a revolution event also, but it did not last and it was not successful. It's a failure. But it was the first republic na naitatag sa Pilipinas. Okay, so I think it only lasted for how many months? Several months only. Ilang buwan lamang ito. Okay, so here, okay. Okay, a monument to the heroes of 1896 was erected in what is now the intersection of Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, or they called it now EDSA, and Andres Bonifacio Drive North Diversion Road. And from then on until 1962, the Cry of Balintawak was celebrated every 26th of August. But it did it really happen on 26th of August? Okay, so the site of the monument was chosen for unknown reason. Okay, so we don't know the reason bakit diyan nila itinayo yung monument. Maybe that place is important or valuable to them, or there's history happened to that place. That's why they chose that place to build that monument. Okay, so we don't know. Alright, so different dates and places of the cry. So various accounts of the cry gave different dates and places. Okay, so when did exactly this Balintawak or cry of Balintawak happened? Okay, so we don't know yet. So right now, I will give to you, or I will discuss to you the different days and places of this cry. Okay, so there are people who said, okay, that, okay, for example, first here, a Guardia Civil, Lieutenant Olegario Diaz, okay, he's a lieutenant, identified the cry to have happened in Balintawak on 25th of August 1896. Okay, so Lieutenant Olegario Diaz said that this Balintawak or cry of Balintawak happened on 25th of August 1896. But other people like Teodoro Calao or Calao, I don't know, Filipino historian, he's also a Filipino historian, marks the place to be in Kangkong, Balintawak. Okay, he said that this cry of Balintawak happened in Kangkong, Balintawak last week of August 1896. So he did not mention any dates like Oligario Diaz, that he said that it happened on 25th of August, but unlike Teodoro Calao, he just said last week of August. So probably from 20th to 30th of August. Okay, so we don't know. And then there's also here Santiago Alvarez, a Katipunero and son of Mariano Alvarez, leader of Magdiwang faction in Cavite, put the cry in Bahay Toro in Quezon City on 24th of August 1896. Okay, so according to Santiago Alvarez, he is a son of Katipunero. I think this is a powerful source because he's a son of a Katipunero. Okay, and his father is also a leader of Magdiwang faction in Cavite, and he said that this cry of Balintawak happened in Bahay Toro in Quezon City, and it happened on 24th of August 1896. So magkakaiba from kay Lieutenant Oligario is 25. Okay, so balik tayo. Okay, magkaiba, no? And then, si Santiago Alvarez naman, sinabi niya na itong Cry of Balintawak happened on 24th of August 1896. So, these three people said different things, also different days and different places. Okay, there's one more. That's Pio Valenzuela, okay? So, known Katipunero and privy to many events concerning the Katipunero, stated that the cry happened in Pugadlawin on 23rd of August 1896. So, they mentioned a lot of dates, okay? Like Pio Valenzuela, he said it happened in Pugadlawin and it was on 23rd of August 1896. So, ano nga ba talaga? Okay, so here, primary source, okay, accounts of the cry. Okay, so there's one person here, and he is named as Guillermo Masangkay, okay? Maybe he is present that time because he have a source and there's proof here, but we don't know. Okay, so according to him, on August 26th, a big meeting was held in Balintawak at the house of Apolonio Samson, then cabeza of that barrio of Caloocan. Among those who attended, I remember. Okay, so he said, I remember. So meaning, I think he's present that time. Were Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto Aguedo del Rosario, Tomas Remigio, or Remigio, I don't know. I'm not sure what exactly his last name. Okay, Bricio Pantas, Teodoro Plata, Pio Valenzuela, Enrique Pacheco, and Francis Carrion. Okay. They were all leaders of the Katipunan and composed of the board of directors of the organization. So they are from delegates of Bulacan, Cabanatuan, Cavite, and Morong. Okay? Alright, so at about 9 o'clock in the morning of August 26, okay, another date, the meeting was opened with Andres Bonifacio presiding and Emilio Jacinto acting as secretary. The purpose was to discuss when the uprising was to take place. Okay, so there's meeting happened. Okay, so si Andres Bonifacio yung namumuno at yung si Emilio Jacinto naman yung kanyang secretary. Okay, so maybe pinag-uusapan nila yung kailan nila gagawin yung uprising or kung saan, kung kailan ang tamang time at place. Alright, so Teodoro Plata, Bricio Pantas, and Pio Valenzuela were all opposed to starting the revolution too early. Okay, so ito yung gusto na mangyari ni Bonifacio, but there are three people who are against to this idea. Okay, so sino yung tatlo? Si Teodoro Plata, si Bricio Pantas, at si Pio Valenzuela. Okay, kaya against sila. Okay, so Andres Bonifacio, sensing that he would lose in the discussion then. Okay, so he left the session hall and talked to the people who were waiting outside for the result of the meeting of the leaders. He told the people that the leaders were against starting the revolution early and appealed to them in a fiery speech in which he said, "You remember the fate of our countrymen who were shot in Bagumbayan. Should we return to the towns, the Spaniards will only shoot us. Our organization has been discovered and we are all marked men. Okay, if we don't start the uprising, the Spaniards will get us anyway. What then do you say?" So what did the people say? Revolt. Okay, so the people shouted as one. Okay, so here, kaya nga nag-meeting yung mga leaders, but then siguro nakikita ni Bonifacio na parang parang hindi sang-ayon yung ibang members sa kanyang idea. Kung kaya't he left the session hall, umalis siya doon, and then tawag nito, lumabas, and then he talked to the people outside. Okay, so mas makapangyarihan yung maraming tao, okay? Yung tawag nito, yung sa labas kasi I think there are a lot of people there, and then he convinced those people, okay? He convinced na para bang lalaban tayo hanggang kamatayan, okay? Lumalaban, bahala, kahit na ano, yung bang may silbi yung pagiging ano mo, mamamatay kang may silbi, parang ganun. Kasi he mentioned here that uh, the Spaniards discovered them already, and they are all marked men. Kumbaga may mga tatak na sila ba na tawag nito, kahit ba saan sila pumunta or ano pang gawin nila, Spaniards already knew what their already knew about this organization, and kulang na lang yung aatakin sila. So, why not unahan nila, 'di ba? Tama naman, 'di ba? Okay, buti na lang at mautak itong si Bonifacio. Okay, and then Bonifacio then asked the people to give a pledge that they were to revolt. He told them that the sign of slavery of the Filipinos were the cedula tax charged each citizen. Okay, so na-convince na nga ni Bonifacio yung mga tao na magrebelde. Okay, so but he wants na yung wala nang sukuan, walang bawian. So, he wants to give a pledge, okay, para sa pagre-rebuilding iyon. Okay, so, ano yung simbolo or what kind of pledge they did during that time? Okay, so, he told them that they're going to store their cedula or their tax receipt na charge every citizen. Okay, bakit nga ba cedula? Okay, so why not birth certificate or other documents that they have? Why is it cedula? Okay, why is it cedula? Because ang cedula that time is I think it's a sign, or yeah, it's a sign it's a sign of Filipino slavery to the Spaniards. Okay, so ang cedula ay ang simbolo ng kanilang pagiging alipin from Spaniards. Okay. Oh, alright. So if it is true that you are ready to revolt, I want to see you destroy your cedulas. Okay, so it will be a sign that all of us have declared our severance from the Spaniards. So, yan. Kaya't pinunit nila ng sabay-sabay ang kanilang mga sedula. Okay? But inunahan ito ni Bonifacio na para sabihin na totoo talaga yung kanyang sinabi. No? Okay. Okay, so another account of the cry is Pio Valenzuela. Okay, he also have account. Okay, let's cry of Pugadlawin. Okay, so here the first place of refuge of Andres Bonifacio, Emilio Jacinto, Procopio Bonifacio, Teodoro Plata, Aguedo del Rosario, and myself was Balintawak, the first 5 arriving there on August 19, and I on August 20, 1896. He mentioned himself, so maybe I think he's present also during that time, just like Masangkay. Okay, so the first place where some 500 members of the Katipunan met on August 22, 1896, okay, was the house and yard of Apolonio Samson at Kang. Okay, so aside from the persons mentioned above, among those who were there, Bricio Pantas, Alejandro Santiago, Roman Bernardo, Apolio Samson, and others. Okay, so it was Pugadlawin, the house or storehouse and yard of Juan Ramos, son of Melchora Aquino. Okay, are you familiar with Melchora Aquino? Okay, so where over 1,000 members of the Katipunan met and carried out considerable debate and discussion on August 29, 1896. Okay, so here, Valenzuela mentioned that there's debate happened and it's quite different from Masangkay, no? Alright, so the discussion was on whether or not the revolution against the Spanish government should be started on August 29, 1896. Okay, and then after the tumultuous meeting, many of those present tore their cedula certificates and shouted, "Long live the Philippines! Long live the Philippines!" Okay, so those are the what do you call that? Events that happened na sinabi ni tawag nito, Valenzuela. Okay, so sa inyo, para sa inyo, which of those account is more convincing? Okay, or as a reader, okay, as a reader, sino mas gusto nyo, kaninong mas gusto nyo na account, kay Valenzuela or kay Masangkay? Okay. So for me na as a reader, if I really want to know the history of the Philippine history about this cry of rebellion, I think it is more convincing yung kay ano tawag nito? Kay Masangkay, no? Para kasi siyang interesting kasi nga para bang siya yung talagang bida, may pagganon, 'di ba? Na kailangan pa niyang i-convince yung people outside after hindi pa natapos yung meeting, but then because of his courage, no, na nagawa talaga yung pagre-rebelde nila, and they got their independence during that time, no? Parang mas exciting kasi yung kay tawag nito, kay Masangkay kaysa kay Valenzuela, but it's only on my opinion, no? It depends on you also. Okay, so let's go here from the verdict. Okay, from the eyewitness accounts presented, there is indeed marked disagreement among historical witnesses as to the place and time of the occurrence of the cry. Tama nga naman kasi nga maraming mentioned na lugar at saka place, no? Using primary and secondary sources, or four places have been identified. First is Balintawak, and then Kangkong, Pugadlawin, and Bahay Toro. And while the dates are 23, 24, 25, and 26 of August 1896. Okay, so Valenzuela's account should be read with caution. Why do you think? Why do you think we should read Valenzuela's account with caution? Because maybe he once told a Spanish investigator that the cry happened in Balintawak on Wednesday, 26th of August 1896. Okay, and then much later he wrote in his memoirs of the revolution that it happened at Pugadlawin on 23rd of August 1896. Okay, so as a reader, it's a bit confusing because he told the investigator that the cry happened in Balintawak and it was on 26th of August, but in his memoirs he wrote that this revolution happened at Pugadlawin and its date is 23rd of August. So it's not consistent, right? So it's a bit confusing, and yeah, you should read it with caution. Okay, so such inconsistencies in accounts should always be seen as a red flag when dealing with primary sources. Okay, so according to Guerrero, Encarnacion, and Villegas, all these places are in Balintawak. Okay, then part of Caloocan, which is now in Quezon City. Alright, so as for the dates, Bonifacio and his troops may have been moving from one place to another to avoid being located by the Spanish government, which could explain why there are several accounts of the cry. Okay, so oo nga naman, maraming mga lugar na na-mention during the cry of rebellion because para hindi sila ma-locate ng Spanish government. Kagaya po ng ating mga kagaya ng ating mga New People's Army. Okay? Or they all ang tawag nito? Palipat-lipat sila ng lugar kaya nga tinawag silang no permanent address so that hindi sila agad-agad na matuntun ng mga ating hukbong militar. Okay? So, kagaya din yan ng ginawa ng mga ating mga katipuneros before. Kung kaya't marami sigurong mga lugar na na-mention kasi they move from this place to another place para maging safe din sila, para hindi sila madaling malusob. Okay, so that's all our report all about the cry of rebellion. And I hope na sana naman ay may natutunan kayo at may natawag nito, may na-stock naman na knowledge dyan sa inyo. Okay, so our next reporter will proceed for the summarization of this report. And thank you!